2 wins in a row. The King got crunched, but is back to race again. And four-wheelers of a different sort pull the heavy sled. Don't go away. Hello, everybody. I'm Scott Douglas. This is Tuff Trax, and you're looking at work done earlier today to get that truck, King Crunch, ready to go racing in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. As you can see, there's lots to be done after last week's nasty flip up at Kalamazoo, Michigan. My colleague, Armstrong, is with King Crunch owner-driver Scott Stevens.
Welcome, everyone, to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, home of the world-famous Milwaukee Mile. And believe me, this asphalt you're going to be seeing competition on tonight has seen some of the best racing in the world. They haven't seen anything yet. The monster trucks are rolling down the straightaway on one of the fastest tracks we've seen all year long. All the drivers are excited about it. We're looking for speeds in excess of 80 miles an hour. Speaking of some of the monster trucks, on last week's program, you saw one of the most violent flips in the sport. The driver of King Crunch out of Texas, upside down, end over end, put the truck back together, a story in itself. And standing with me right now is that driver, Scott Stevens. Scott, what in the world happened in Kalamazoo last week?
I just had a bad start against the Buffalo Trimmer, and I thought I'd passed him pretty good on the finish line. I thought I jumped all the cars, so I kind of let out, thought I was going to roll, down towards the TV cameras, and next thing I know, evidently I didn't clear all the cars. In the back end, our truck's real long, and that back tire fell off in a real deep hole. And by the time I realized where we were at, I couldn't, it was too late to compensate. We were upside down, and it just happened so quick. And, luckily we ended back up on the wheels and didn't really hurt the truck at all.
Well, that was last week. I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more action just like this week. Stay tuned as Chris Chapman's going to give us an update on the pulling portion of today's program.
Thanks, Army. Later on in the show, we'll be bringing you some exciting pulling action as modified 4x4 trucks compete in the National Tractor Championship in Bowling Green, Ohio. This event is perhaps the most prestigious event of its type in the country. And we've got 44 trucks in action today, and we'll be showing you some of the highlights. It includes a pull by Manuel Marino, who's currently the points leader in this class on the TNT All-American Pulling Series. Now let's go back to the TNT Monster Truck Challenge with Scott and Army.
Gravedigger, one of the most popular sites in all of motorsports, but this is a site not real popular in Dennis Anderson's eye, Army, but it's one we see a lot. Gravedigger needing repairs.
Well, the horsepower seems to be the big problem with the truck. We talked to Anderson. We'll be covering that a little bit later in the show, but once again, the Gravedigger not going to make the call due to breakage.
Be interested to see what Dennis says about all the problems. Here, however, are the first round pairings. USA 1 and Clydesdale. That'll be a good matchup. No problem against Mr. Twister. We'll look at Mr. Twister today. Jersey Outlaw takes on Carolina Crusher. Note, Carolina Crusher only 14th in qualifying. Very, very strange. King Crunch meets Wild Hair. Later on, Tough Enough and Playing for Keeps in what ought to be an exceptional matchup. The Fast Loser comes back to meet the winner of that one in the quarterfinal round. And rounding out our first round of competition, it'll be Mad Dog against Nightlife, and then the Equalizer takes on the Buffalo Trimmer. Now, we talked about the Carolina Crusher in his qualifying run, Army. We're going to see why Gary Porter ended up 14th on the qualifying list.
Well, normally Porter qualifies real good. He's normally up in the top 3 or 4 trucks. On this run, the asphalt actually gave him some problems. Now, during the opening, we talked about the Milwaukee Mile and how fast it is. Well, it is a fast track if you can keep all 4 wheels on the ground. Porter went over the first set of jumps, looked good. Second set of jumps, he really got it out of shape, and right there is what cost him. He had to backpedal, actually back the truck up to hit the final set of cars. Now, remember, while he's backing up, the timing clock is still going forward.
Certainly something that could have a very big impact as Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher trying to win the World Championship of monster truck racing, and he has been up in the points all year. That's the kind of thing that can hurt bad.
It'll hurt him because it'll mess him up when the pairings come around. But a run that the people had an opportunity to just gasp when it was over was Rod Liftow when he went to the line in the awesome crowd favorite USA 1 True Value Hardware Chevrolet.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. You won't see many qualifying runs like this one. All out attack by Rod Liftow and USA 1. Army, it's that last set. Look at him coming to it.
The first set of cars, he actually rolled over. Second set, a little bit more, but on the third set, look at that. Completely clear. 12 cars by about 20 feet.
Adam standing in the aisle. Then Milwaukee at the Milwaukee Mile. Rod Liftow clears them all, and he is going to be a load. He's won the last 2 races in a row. Can he make it 3 in a row? After a leap like that, you've got to call